Oh my, you guys have no idea how good of a comparison this is. And this is it. This is Lee Haney versus Samson Dauda. Structurally speaking, these guys are very similar, about the same height. I mean, muscle attachments, things of that nature, pretty close, pretty close. But the thing of it is, this is a 1990s, 1980s athlete in Lee Haney. We're going to use a couple of different versions, guys. This here actual picture, I think, is from 88. But we got the 2022 version of Samson Dauda. Could Samson Dauda done do what Lee Haney done did back in the 80s? Win a bunch of Olympia titles, go down in history of being one of the best bodybuilders of all time? Well, we can begin with a picture comparison of these two dudes. And there is a lot of decades in between these guys. This is a 87, if I'm not mistaken. Should have wrote it down, but I think I'm pretty good at this. 87 Lee Haney. He is a lot smaller in weight. You can see that. You can see the wheels a lot bigger for Samson. Now, just to be fair, there's a close-up or a colored picture of Lee Haney. And you can definitely see the detail, the condition, or lack thereof. A little bit better in this shot. Morphs right into that black and white one. Do you guys see that? That's all new technology here at Mark's Max Muscle. Well, maybe not the best in terms of that, but we got some voices. Lee Haney, I mean, like I said, he is a lot smaller, but he has pointier biceps, smaller arms, but shapelier, I think. And his midsection, I don't know. I think the midsection of Samson looks pretty good too. Vacuums, both of these guys. Lats, I'd give it to Lee. Wheels, probably go with Samson. Here's the next shot, the front lat spread, and you might as well just notch up a point for Lee Haney. But we're not doing points, guys. We're just kind of doing a fun one. This is 85 or 88 for Lee Haney. Here's 91. And this is maybe the best shot for Haney in this pose. But look at his wheels. His wheels were a little bit down in size. I think, honestly, 91 wasn't his biggest. Some people would say it was. I don't think it was. I think it might have been his best conditioned. You can see his legs look like dried beef jerky. Look at the lats, guys. Look at this shot compared to Samson. Now, if your argument is the condition of the guys were back in the 90s or early 90s, late 80s was not as good, I don't know, guys. That's pretty good condition, muscle separation for Lee Haney. Turn to the side here for the side chest. And yeah, this is a terrible picture, guys. Best version, sure, for Lee Haney, 91, but it's just a terrible shot. Here is 85. This is 85, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm sure some of you guys have an even keener eye than old Mark's Max Muscle. Do your channel. You should do your own channel then. There's a lot of guys out there. Hey, if I can do it, you can do it too. You can do it too. Critique bodybuilding. I mean, this is the best sport in the world. Everybody has an opinion. Nobody's really wrong. For instance, I would give this one to Lee Haney because of the dominance in the upper body. Whereas some people could say, well, look at the size of the wheels of Samson Dauda. He's winning. Condition has to be taken into consideration as well. Here is the Whoo Haa pose, and this one is really explanatory of how the sport has evolved. Look at the midsection difference. Wow. Yes, Samson is big, but Lee's shapely. Here's the side tricep. A nice shot for Lee. Look at his big man's chest. It's like a big man's chest that bows out. Small little slip of a midsection. And yeah, much more detailed, much crisper, it seems, the upper body of Lee Haney than Samson. But Samson is just a big junk of a man. Big, huge piece of a machinery. Now here's a close-up shot. Love this one of Lee Haney. And again, here is a perfect example of how size is not everything. Samson, he's huge. He's occupying a lot of space here. He is opened up more. I mean, that big man's chest of Lee. But look at the triceps themselves. Lee is very impressive. in that aspect. And food for thought. This is his other side. He's able to hit that side tricep, both sides. Here's the back. And Lee Haney, unfortunately, there's not the best picture footage of his back shots. Now here's a closer up one. You can see the conditioning a little bit better. I just kind of put it on top of that other one. The other one maybe used for sizing. But still, this shows you guys the evolution of bodybuilding. And the evolution says that the backs are much better. Lee's back, yeah, hey, it's doing battle. But I mean, let's be honest, guys. There's a lot of new machines, know-how. I mean, these guys today, they do have bigger and better backs. But the rear double bi would have us believe that it's more than just who trains what. It is genetics. And Lee Haney, the man, whether he was around in the 80s, 90s, or if he was around today, his back would be twice as big as Samson's already. I mean, look at those lat insertions. In the rear lat, it was a little harder to say, but here in the rear double, you can see the genetic availability of the to build the lats. Is that strided glutes for Lee Haney? Not Lee Priest. No worries, mate. Like I said. And here's the abs and thigh. And much larger quad. As I said through this entire matchup, Samson must be 10, 15, 20 pounds heavier. Maybe a half inch shorter, an inch shorter, maybe. Lee, he is slenderer, but he seems to be more cut. Well, I wouldn't say more cut. Look at the feathering in them quads of Samson. Looks pretty darn good. But I just maybe prefer the midsection. And those booming lats create an awesome V-taper for one Lee Haney. And that's it, guys. That's the most muscular Lee Haney. The guy was ripped to shreds, Monsoon. Now maybe, in that right, is it his right Napoleon? Lee Haney's right Napoleon. He has just a little whiffle of a Fig Newton. And a Fig Newton is, in Mark's Max Muscle terminology, little bit of gyno. Camastia, is that what it is? It's a little Fig Newton. That's all it is to me. And now, aside from the Fig Newton, I think Lee is kind of better than Samson. And this is the most muscular. That's crazy. Just crazy. I like you guys, but you guys are crazy. Wow. What a character that I have become. Anyway, guys, Lee Haney, he's doing well. Is he beating Samson Dauda? It would be interesting to hear the judges' analyses, baby, please. If you had these two specimens up on the stage, they'd probably give the win to Lee just because he's so good in a lot of them shots. But they'd tell him, man, you need to put some size on those wheels. But for his time, he had a more than decent set of wheels. And that is one thing that has evolved. People were thinking, Lee Haney, he's like Arnold Schwarzenegger with bigger wheels. And then Dorian Yates came along. And they basically said, that's Lee Haney with better wheels and things of that nature. Ronnie Coleman, bigger and better wheels. The wheels definitely have evolved. Might have plateaued with Ronnie Coleman and your Jay Cutlers with the balance of the wheels. You got to remember balance as well. But anyway, we could get into different topics and go down to rabbit holes all day long. That's what the live streams are for. So anyway, guys, that's part of your You Pick. Tuesday, that's your second one. You guys got the first one over 400. I need 500 to do the rest of them, but they're over 400, so I'm doing this one. Do me a solid, and go hit thumbs up on that original video. Have a great one, guys.